Hi, I'm Lori Tobin. Welcome to Bow to Stern. My husband, Adam Iverson, Captain Adam, will be joining us for these episodes. Are you new to boating? Well, our show will teach your family how to have an awesome, fun time on the water. We're going to show you paddleboards, kayaks, sailboats, and motorboats, and so much more. We're going to show you what you need to know so that you can have an awesome time on the water with your family. I wanted to show you kayaking. This is my kayak. I love my kayak. This kayak's over, I think, 12 years old. And I love to use it after dinner. So I pop it in the water, I put my life vest on, and then I go paddling around. This is my neighborhood, so I know it very well. I usually kayak in this area, sometimes with friends, but it's this area, I know it well, and I don't typically go too far. But you can. It just depends if you have a buddy. It's good to have a buddy with you when you do things. I always wear a hat to keep the sun off my head. I have good polarized sunglasses, very important. I have my life vest on. I have wicking clothing that also keeps the sun off of me. It has the SPF on it. We also have sunblock. I have 50 on my hands, on my legs, on my face, and on my neck, and on my ears. When you go out in the water, you want to make sure whatever you are wearing has good movement, because if it's stiff, it's going to be tougher to paddle with. And wicking is great in case you sweat or you get wet. So it's important to think of that when you're going to go kayaking, paddleboarding, if you're on a whaler, whatever. So it's important to have all of those. So kayaking's a blast. The buddy system is the way to go if you can. Plus you have somebody to be with to enjoy this, because it's beautiful. And a paddleboard. I borrowed my friend's, so I'm going to teach you how to use a paddleboard. Paddleboards are pretty big, so you need the paddle, obviously. You also need, if you can see, this boat has gripping. So that means when I'm on the boat, I'll be able to turn with my feet as I'm paddling and not fall off, hopefully. The other thing that we have on the paddleboard is the fins on the back. Okay, so these are 3 fins. So this is what guides you as you paddle to turn right or left. I'll show you when I get on the board. It's breezy today. That's something to consider, because a breeze means you're going to have to paddle harder. So let's begin. Safety feature is the ankle strap. I forgot to get my friend's one, so I made one up. Basically, it's a line with Velcro to your ankle. So if you should fall off, you've got your boat. Because if you fall off in wind, it could go one way and you're stuck trying to chase it. So it just helps you so you can keep your boat. Very important. And obviously, when you're paddling, you paddle like in this area, and you go this way and you go that way, so you can turn the boat depending on which side you're paddling on. PFD, you want to have a PFD? It is a personal flotation device. If you don't wear it, make sure you tie it on the back so you always have something. But it's best to wear it. You need to have good balance if you're using a paddleboard. Some folks even take a yoga class on their paddleboards. But it's important to be strong because you have to be able to get back and forth. The other thing is it's great for teenagers. Little kids, it's tougher because you have to have a body dynamic to be able to get the paddle in the water. If you can, and you're first starting out on this, go when there's no wind and you'll get it really easily. If it is windy, you may fall in, but that's okay. On a hot day, sometimes it's nice to get wet. And it's also really good to start out on a small pond, or this is a small bay, something that is, not too deep, not too far away, that you're able to just tootle around, and you just take a little bit at a time, half an hour the first time, half an hour the second time. If you have a buddy, it's the way to go, because buddies just make it so much more fun. And then if there's a safety issue, you've got someone there. I want to show you our 13-foot 1973 Whaler. Love this boat. We have a blast on it. If you're considering getting a motorboat, Power Squadrons. Very good course, great group of people. They will teach you things you need to know and didn't know you knew. Also, get yourself a friend that has a motorboat. Have them show you around so you understand. This is our GPS. GPS will show you before you hit rocks. You need to learn how to use your GPS. Compass, north, south, east, west. You'll know where you are. There has to be PFDs when you're on a boat for everyone. We also use them as cushions, so when we're bumping along, we've got something for our tush. It's important when you take the Power Squadrons class, you can get a local chapter, but it'll teach you knowledge, it'll teach you skills. Your kids can take it as well. It's a really, really good thing to do for your family. They have them, I think, all year long. I took mine in the spring many years ago, and I still remember a lot of things they taught me. But when you have a motorized boat, speed comes into a factor, you need to know a lot. It's really important that you get that information. We also have sun protection on our boat. This is our bimini. It's very simple, very easy. It always has a little bit of rainwater in it. And there you go. Very stylish, and it keeps the sun off of you while you're bopping around. Plus, if it's raining, it keeps you dry. But it's just something that's very, very nice, especially on a really hot day. To have the sun off of me is great. Make sure you get all the pieces in there. The other thing we have is fenders, so when we come into a dock, we don't smash up our boat. The engine has fuel tanks. You need to learn about fuel tanks. You have to put some oil in it as well, motor oil into the tanks, so there's a lot to learn. We have also pulled a tube and given my son and his friends tube rides on the back of the whaler. That's a lot of fun for kids as well. And what are you going to do when you have your whaler? Are you going to leave it on a dock? Are you going to leave it on a mooring, which is out here in the mooring field? Or are you going to trailer it in and out every time you use it? Lots of things to consider. If you are getting a motorboat, start small. Get used to it, get really good at it, and then you can go a little bigger. Children under the age of 10 by law in Massachusetts have got to wear their life preservers, life jackets. They have to have them on. There's no excuse. They have to have them on. Your kids need to know how to swim. If they don't have swimming lessons, I suggest you get them with swimming lessons. They need to be comfortable in water. Check the weather forecast. Make sure it's going to be a good day for boating. Is it blowing out of the southwest? Is it blowing more than 10 knots? Something to consider when you're first on your boat, because you don't want to go anywhere that's really, really windy, because it's tough to maneuver getting from point A to point B, especially when you're a novice. We took this Boston whaler from Hull to Beverly. It took us an hour and 15 minutes. It was a 15-mile voyage, flat calm, so we were able to plane and get that puppy going. But if it was a crappy day, I wouldn't have gone. But it was fun. We did it for the day. We enjoyed it. We got to see friends. I love my Boston whaler. They don't sink. They will never sink. Stick with your boat if you ever have a problem. A compass just lets you know you're heading southeast northwest, but the GPS is most important. It'll let you know where you're going. It'll let you know if you're coming into shallow water or rocks. Pay attention to your GPS and learn how to use it. The other thing that's very, very important is to have a walkie-talkie. Have some type of a walkie-talkie so that you can get in touch with, if you need to, the Coast Guard, or in this case, we can get on Channel 9, we can get a hold of the launch drivers or people on in your boat areas that can help you should you have a problem. And sea tow is important too, because if you break down, who's going to come get you if you're out in the middle of Boston Harbor? So make sure you have all of these 3 safety items. Obviously, water, sunblock. If you're going to be gone for the day, make sure you pack some snacks. Whatever the kids are going to eat. You don't want the kids hungry. You don't want anybody hungry. If you have anybody that's seasick, there's different types of seasick medicines. I would suggest you try them. That's the pediatrician. How much should I give my kid? He gets a little seasick. The pediatrician will know and they will tell you. And when you are going by another boat, you know, don't be too close to another boat. Make sure you know the rules of the water. So my biggest pet peeve with motorboats is they will go by really fast to a sailboat. And sometimes I had my son when he was a baby. He would have his life preserver on. I would pick him up so they would see there was an infant on board. That would make them get out of the way. But motorboaters should never be that close to sailboats because they really cause a big wake. And that's not great for people on the boat, and especially little ones. It scares them when it's like that. So that's something to consider as well. In this harbor right here, you're only supposed to be going 5 miles an hour. There's a lot of people on their boats. There's little kids taking sailing lessons. 5 miles an hour through this area. If you go faster, somebody could get hurt. Then when you go past that, you can go faster. But everybody has wake zones and no wake zones. You also want to have boat insurance. Boat insurance is important because accidents happen. So get boat insurance. The other thing is Boats USA is a magazine and it's an organization that also helps you. So say if your boat broke down, you will get sea towed so many miles for free. It's kind of like the AAA of boating. USA Boats is what you want to consider getting, and it's very knowledgeable. They send you a monthly magazine and you can learn a lot from that. If you're a first-time buyer, get a buddy, somebody who has a boat and uses their boat to show you different things that you need to know about a boat, or get an expert like my husband Adam. Hi, honey.
Hi, my love.
Maybe you could fill people in on our boats and how we acquired ours.
Certainly. So we've sort of always had a sailboat of different sizes. We'll get into that in a second, but since we're in the whaler, this has been our new favorite little boat. I got this, what, 10 years ago? 15 years ago.
15 years ago, yeah.
So we bought it from a friend, which is a great way to get a boat because you know its history, you know how it's been treated. It's about a 45-year-old boat. The outboard is 35 years old. We paid practically nothing for it, and it's just been the best little boat ever.
Yeah, we love the Whaler. The Whaler's a blast. It's a good time.
We use it as its own little motorboat to go out, see the islands on. It's also how we get back and forth to our sailboat from here to the mooring, which is out at the end of town. And we tow it behind our sailboat as a dinghy, which it's way too big to be a dinghy, but it's just so much fun to have it when we get places. Again, we've got our own little motorboat wherever we go, so we love it. If you're buying a larger boat, not something like this, but certainly anything a little bit bigger,
And more expensive.
it is highly advisable to have it surveyed by a professional marine surveyor before you buy it. That's money well spent every time, in my opinion. Number one, you'll be alerted to potential defects about the boat, but even if the boat's completely satisfactory and you're happy to buy it, you'll still learn some things about its condition or what you can do to fix it up. So having your boat surveyed before you buy it is a good thing.
Thanks, Adam. That was super helpful.
You're very welcome. Glad I was able to help. I should get back home, but I'll see you in a little bit.
Okay.
All right.
See you later, alligator. For more information on boating, you can check local boat clubs and beach clubs. There's all kinds of things that clubs do to help the community as well as help members. So join a club. I think clubs are a good thing. Kids, get your kids into sailing. I think sailing is really good for kids to learn. The club over here, you have to be 8 years old, and you learn so much. Teaches kids a lot of good skills about being on the water. You can also find out more about power squadrons. Go online and Google power squadrons. It'll come up. There'll be a chapter in your area where you can sign up and get classes for you and your family. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Bow to Stern.